Okay,
Doesn't our
so
friend ever tire?
this is
I've hardly seen her
non-seasonal, and I am at 700 something, or at least I was 753 on non-seasonal. But I just
since we met.
Now
augmented
you know why
another
angels
piece
and
of
demons
gear,
fear the Nephilim, Laura.
so we are gonna try to move up to push up one more to that, so that would be a 112. So let's get into it, and then we can talk about it later, assuming that everything works out. I had a damage problem the last time I tried it. I attempted this. So right click, R, W, or Q, W, E, R, Q, 15 trillion. R. I'm in poison cycle. I'm just gonna go ahead and swipe at these guys. Q, W, E. I don't think it came out. R. Poison. Try W again. It didn't come out. Or Q. 5 stacks. Poison again. Let's go ahead and swipe. W. First delete. E. Let's hit R. Not ideal. Only 3 stacks when the poison cycle hit. And I was in his face. W. E. Go to the Oculus. R. 60.2 trillion. Critical hit. Q. Need more elites. W. This is a bad map, of course. E. Anything with like long, narrow paths. So nothing came out of that poison cycle. It's too bad. R. Poison. Let's go ahead and get Simulacra. Q. Okay, this is insane. I'm going down to the left. Wasted so much time walking, running around. W, E, R. Let's just head for the Oculus. Q, W. Skeletal mages, contamination. Torn armor, dislocation. Got Nova Blight. Still behind. Probably could have just went through this. That was just a bad map. And this is also a bad map. It's just QWE R. Head for the Oculus. Out of cycle. In cycle. Let's take these guys out. Oh, come on. Still behind. R. I've got 2 Simulacra, I can see them. The problem is when you get to the Rift Guardian, that's all. Well, the problem is time, so we gotta have Nemesis. Even with Nemesis, it's a time problem. And I'm already behind on time, so I was. So I just have to hope that the next 2 maps or so are really high density open area. I'm not hitting anything, I'm totally whiffing everything. And I'm going in that order, basically Q, W, E, R. Just hit R on the... Make sure you get that bone armor in place. If you're gonna, I would say, if you're gonna tackle a elite. Arcane is really killing me right now, or... doing big damage. I'm trying to walk through these guys. I've got illusory boots in the cube, and I've got I'm wearing the ice climbers. Channeling pylon doesn't really help you that much, except I can really make sure that I've got my simulacra. Let's make sure that when I hit poison cycle, we are just wailing on him. Still alive though. Poison. Still alive. Still not doing enough damage. Oh, that is incredible. Should be able to take out some of these guys on the second pass. So 29.6 trillion. Okay, I guess we can just skip the trash and just hope.
That needs to recharge.
1.1 billion toughness. And I procced that molten explosion, holy cow. Keep moving, let's get out of this map. Ay ay ay. $24.8 trillion. Area damage, go ahead, take it. Why not? I see you. Poison. I'm gonna wait for the pylon. Okay, now I took it. Poison cycle, but I only had 3 stacks. Unfortunate. 4 stacks. Keep moving. Okay, now we go. Now I cannot complain about this map. This is the kind of map I can't complain about, so. Taking the density because we are going to finish the map, the Greater Rift on this map. So there may be 2 pylons here. There's got to be at least one. I'm gonna go ahead and clear these guys and then look around a little bit.
I need essence.
Okay. That knockback, man. Knockback into the wall. Okay. Thank you to the waller. W-E. I really need to look for the pylon. Oh, okay, perfect. What am I doing? Just go ahead. Hit it.
The Rift Guardian is here.
Okay, we should do this now. Q, W, E, R. I can't complain about the Rift Guardian either. This is a good one. Q, W, E, R. The Stricken is going to stack up so much. 32.5 trillion, 17 trillion. So he's got 1.4 quadrillion damage, hit points. Q, W, E. Let's go ahead and use the cycle. R, Q, W. Even without the shield, 726 million toughness. That's not a lot. R, Q, 716. Okay, so we didn't talk about the gems so much. So you can have, we've got Stricken. This will go from 60 to 30.
If you have a gem of sufficient quality, I can try to do
Got
this
Simplicity,
for you,
Strength.
champion.
And then we're not going to worry about these others so much here. Some people use Trapped instead of Stricken. But for Greater Rifts, I don't think it doesn't work out for me. I'll just tell you that.
I am returning to town.
And then the Haunted Visions is usually what's best in slot here. And then what people do is they'll cube the Crisbins instead of wearing it, or you could cube Convention of Elements or Unity. But what I have is I don't have a good Haunted Visions, or I haven't come up with one yet, so I'm just going with the Squirts. It has different advantages though, so I kind of like it. And there's Black Death and Illusory Boots. That's just standard. Illusory Boots could be equipped, and then Ice Climbers could be cubed. Could do it that way, based on what's better for you. So we'll look at the skills, and we'll look at the gear and paragons, and then we'll be done with the video. So this puts me at wherever it was, 716. And if you look at the what I've got, and then we can look at the It's on the leaderboards, but this is ancient with poison. And legendary stat is low, the low end of the range. Unfortunately, this is good. That life per second is not great, but the vitality, I think that was familiar damage. This has been augmented from prior season when I did a push on the leaderboards on Corpse Lance Pestilence. So that's why that has an augment from before. This it needs to be, this will be augmented later. It's good. This one I just augmented because this is a good build to play. I like it as far as enjoyability. The area damage could be better here, Razeth, and the legendary stat is near the bottom of the range. These stone gauntlets were rolled on a barbarian. The area damage could go up to 20. The critical hit damage is laughable at 29%, but it's ancient at least. Stricken, you saw we just upgraded that a little bit. Critical hit chance damage and area damage, that's alright. Legendary stats not so good. I have another one that I'm rolling to try to get better, but this one right here needs that area damage. If we can get that up to 20, that'll be an upgrade. Attack speed, not so much. I don't really. Attack speed is not needed here. That's not the best option. The best roll. Area damage was what we're gonna go for. This thing was also augmented as part of that Pestilence Corpse Lance push in an earlier season, but it was cooldown was what that roll was, and the fourth attribute there. But it's now it's area damage. It can go up to 24. Legendary stats good. We'll do the phylactery last. The necklace. This I think was from a demon hunter or a monk. It's probably from monk. So dexterity is kind of silly there. Thorns damage is useless. Extra gold, not so useful. Simplicity strength 113. So this one is, I share this with my Gears of Dreadlands Demon Hunter, who also uses that simplicity strength and this stricken. And the VR Archon also uses the stricken. The Nemesis Bracer, so you can see Quelms, you can see Parthen Defenders, you can see Strong Arm Bracers, more common. The Chrisman's not ancient, and it's got cooldown, which is irrelevant here, which is useless in this case. But the legendary stat is really good, and that's why I'm using it instead of an ancient that I've got. Because that ancient has a really, really bad legendary stat, 80 something. The phylactery here, it just needs to be. It's got socket, and that should really be something much better. So I'm trying to get I'm rolling phylacteries, trying to get a better one. And the skills. Grimside Curse Scythe is your DPS, and Simulacrum Blood and Bone, you need to have that. Make sure that you've got the 2 Simulacra, or Simulacrums, whenever you're in combat. The poison skills, the other poison skills, Death Nova Blight, Bone Spear, Skeletal Mage, Contamination, Bone Armor, Dislocation. As you can see, it would basically go QWE, because if you use a Skeletal Mage, then you can mess up your essence, so drain it so that the Death Nova and or Bone Spear can't come out. So I'll generally do Q, precede E Skeletal Mages with the Death Nova and Bone Spear. Final Service, Swift Harvesting Standalone, and Spreading Malediction. Final Service you don't need if you're doing, say, Nephilim Rifts or something like that. Paragons, as you can see here, nothing too remarkable there. Then just Follower is standard. Oculus Ring. Can't Die. Thunder Fury. Johann. Potion. I've got the armor by 20% on the the wizard, the Veer Archon, because I like my Archon too. But I'm going with the armor potion. And let's just finish this off by looking at what's on the leaderboard. So let's look at the seasonal because it's a little bit more relevant. This is a different build. That's a different. Don't really want to look at that either. Okay, so Haunted Vision's equipped, and you get their critical crit and poison, so that's optimal. And you can cube Flavor of the Time. You can cube Steward's Greaves instead of Illusory Boots or Ice Climbers, and the Steward's Greaves works with your Blood Rush for mobility, and the Chrome's buff Bracers you can use instead of Nemesis. As you can see, I got knocked back a few times, and that's annoying. Your Pain Enhancer is another way to accelerate your damage over time, essentially. Instead of Stricken or Trapped, they are going with Pain Enhancer. And then the Phylactery, well, you can also get area damage. I don't have area damage on the Phylactery either, so need a better Phylactery. Quelms, Flavor, Pain Enhancer. Okay, I think we looked at that one. Quelms, Stricken, and the Steward's Greaves again. I get no Illusory Boots. Yeah, there's advantages to this. But the Grim Scythe, Death Nova Blights, Mark and Blood Bone, same thing. Bone Spear, Blighted Marrow, Bone Armor Dislocation. And same passives. Nemesis again, like I have. Stricken like I have. Flavor of Time. Flavor of Time is fun. And he's stacking toughness. So vitality in this case. You could I've seen people you do armor instead. Stacking damage, and look at this. No sockets. Going for toughness, vitality, and resistance. And no socket here, area damage. COE, and because he's equipping Unity. Unity has the advantage of the damage against elites there. That's something that Unity offers that Convention of Elements doesn't, for example, or Chrisbin's doesn't offer that either. So you can have, we haven't seen one, but sometimes you can see Witching Hour here, and they cube the Dainties binding. Not the case here. This is kind of like mine, except Command Skeletons is instead of Skeletal Mages. Stricken again. Stricken, I like Stricken a lot. My favorite gem is Gogok, but then when you're playing like Z-Monk with Gogok, it's really fun. Because it's cooldown, it's damage, because you're, well, it's attack speed, dodge, it's so many different things. Gogok's just brilliant. So here's Parthen Defenders with poison, and the legendary stat is maxed. And maybe just like a couple more here. Stewart's and Leoric's Crown. Okay, so we've got a different thing here, something different here. So instead of what we've got is more toughness. So the Leoric's Crown, which I don't really see much in non-cooldown builds like this one, but here we go. Got a lot of extra life with this. And this is also stacking vitality, so probably he doesn't have a lot of they don't have a lot of their vitality paragon into vitality. It's going into intelligence, but stricken. So this is another way of doing it. This is for speed, and then we've got the Skeletal Mage Contamination again, but this time we have Blood Rush instead of a Death Nova Blight or something like that. And the Nemesis, this is for speed as well. So it's kind of doing both. There's some customization for speed, clearance, and there's some customization for survivability. I guess when you're tanking the Rift Guardian. But the Allurix Crown, that is less common. More common is the Andariel. So the Poison Nova. Huh. The weapon damage. So I haven't been looking at the weapon damage so much. So 3010. Let's look at that. So the Andariel. So the multiplier, the base in this formula here is your weapon damage. So 415% of your weapon damage as poison. So 3010. What's my weapon damage? It's not that high, is it? 2556. Okay, so yikes. Let's just move down somewhere in the middle here. It's Fluffy. Celebrity. So 3000. So the Death Diggers you can cube. In this case, here's some variety. And go with Golem Skin Breeches, which goes with Golem. So forth. So just another variation here. Talusha chest piece. That's also different. So we've got some variation here. It's still stricken though. And we don't have the Grimsarth multiplier on the phylactery. Just a different variation. But we've got Death Diggers again. Ice Climbers, Illusory Boots, like I said. You can switch these depending on what's best. And Frailty is another option on your non-DPS skills. So we're not seeing Bane of the Trapped actually at all. I wouldn't think about Bane of the Trapped. Your group variations. So if you look at group, if you can find an RGK that's a Necromancer, which is not so common. So here, it's the RGK. We have Squirt and Haunted Visions. Kind of like the way I have it set up. But we got Frailty, Early Grave, which helps for finishing off elites and so forth. And Swampland Waders with Death Digger. So we do not have the so that's odd. We don't have the Ice Climbers. So yeah, this to me is annoying to be when you have Stone Gauntlets and you don't have Ice Climbers. Just gonna be upfront about that. There we go. Stone Climbers, Stone Gauntlets, Ice Climbers, Illusory Boots, Squirt, Haunted Visions. So not so much different in a group situation. So another, again, a great thing about this is there's no unity. You have a Necromancer build with a lot of toughness. For once. And that's probably the coolest thing about this build, or one of the coolest things. The other thing is it's really simple to play because you don't have to worry about cooldowns, you don't have to worry so much about buffs, you don't have to worry about resource draining so much. This Razeth could be an upgrade, possibly. This is a circle of Nihiluj's Evol, but that Razeth could be good. We'll find out. Anyway, that's it.